This is the Tamron 2875 G2, and it's a lens that I've been using for a real long time. This, on the other hand, is the Sony GM28-70 f2.0. These two lenses covers basically the exact same focal range, even though you get 5mm more with the 2875 than what you get with the 2870. But the 2870 has a 2.0 aperture and this has a 2.8 aperture. Is it that much of a difference when you compare it side by side towards the Tamron? And what is the strengths of this lens compared to this lens and vice versa? That is what we're going to try to find out in this video. So what I'm going to do is that I'm going to show you a couple of shots that I took of my car Optimus here in the back, and you're going to have to guess if it's shot at 2.0 or 2.8, and with the Tamron or with the Sony. I'm going to give you 5 shots, okay? Ready? 3, 2, 1, start guessing. I want you to comment down below on how many you got right and what was the giveaway that made you guess right. So I've been using the Tamron 2875 ever since the first version was released back in, I think it was 2019.
Oh, finally! Yes! Ooh, nice.
This lens is for Sony's full-frame cameras. The reason that I ordered this instead of the G Master is because, first of all, the price on the G Master is ridiculous. Not only was it one of those lenses that helped me to create more things that I wasn't actually capable of creating before, but it unlocked the 2.8 bokeh blur that we all know and love that I couldn't afford previously, because the price point of this was actually something that was attainable for someone in my position back then. Something that I have noticed when I've been using the Tamron is that 28mm is usually not wide enough. And that is also a limitation that I feel when I'm testing this lens, because it's all about that extra 4mm that you get with the 24mm lens. One of the reasons that I love the prime lens of 24mm is, one, because you can get really wide and still have a blurred out background because of the wide aperture at 1.4. Now, this is something that this lens kind of provides, because you have this 28mm with the 2.0. And when you're working with taking photos, and when you're working with on-the-go shoots, and when you really want to make sure that you can work in both dark environments but also have that nice crispy background separation, then the 2.0 aperture might just be what you might need in those scenarios. But for the But for the everyday user, I think that spending $4,200 on the Sony GM lens as compared to $1,100 on the Tamron, you know what? I stand corrected. The Tamron lens is not $1,100. It's actually not more than $899 here in Sweden, including taxes, that is. It's going to be a very hard thing. One of the best parts about the focal lengths of both of these lenses is that they cover such a wide variety of shots that you can get. You can do some portrait shots, you can do some full body shots, or you can do some automotive shots. But one thing that you can't do that I've tried so many times with the Tamron lens is vlogging. And the reason is because you're stuck at 28 millimeters. Whenever I'm vlogging, I'm usually using the 16 millimeter, which is the one that you're seeing right now. And I hold it basically an arm's length away or something like that. Hang on, I'm just gonna increase the ISO here because it's going a little bit dark. And then I go up to 35 whenever I wanna change the angle and give it a little bit more different kind of vibe. And then whenever I feel like, you know, this is gonna be a cut here, then I go back to 16 to make everything feel a little bit more dynamic. But if I were to set my lens to 24 millimeters, then this would be it. And I think that this is just fine to be able to vlog with. It's a little bit too tight in my opinion because I really like the 16 millimeter look that you get right here. But if I were to switch this to 28, then this is what it would look like. See that? No? It might not be too tight to actually do some talking heads with, because this is going to be more than fine to get your point across and so on and so forth. But if you are, if you're vlogging and you want to show off the environment a little bit, then 28 millimeters is gonna limit you. But on the other hand, you do get the 75 millimeters on the long end, which means that I could punch in like this and have an entirely different shot than what I can get with the 16-35. If you buy this lens or any of these lenses, you probably don't buy it because you want to vlog. It's probably gonna be one of those lenses that is gonna be in between the 16-35 and the 70-200 whenever you're on the go. For me, and things that I do, the 16-35 is the lens that I use the absolute most on a day-to-day basis whenever I'm creating my videos. And I highly recommend this lens. Now back to the behemoth of the 2870 f2.0. How big is the difference of 2.0 when you're using it like this? Well, what you're seeing right now is f2.8 with the Tamron lens. And this is the 2.0 with the Sony lens. Now, there might not be that much of a difference when you just go from shot to shot, but if I were to put them side by side, then you probably would notice a little bit of a difference. You can also see that the Tamron has a slightly warmer tone than what the Sony lens has. And this is gonna be a matter of taste, like it comes down to what you like and what you don't like. I'm gonna say that I'm personally in favor of the little bit warmer tone, but I have noticed in some occasions that having that warm tone might not be the best for the video that I'm creating or the photo that I'm taking. And when you see them side by side, you see that the Sony has a little bit more neutral color about. Look at the size difference of these things. Wow! Like the front element is insane on the Sony lens, but the weight? The Sony lens comes in at 927 grams. That's like, oh, and the Tamron lens comes in at 575. That's almost 400 grams lighter with the Tamron lens than what you get with the Sony lens. Just to give you my conclusion here, I think that there's not going to be any right or wrong. One of the cool things with the Sony lens is that you can skip having prime lenses. It covers so many different focal lengths. You have the 35, you have the 50, and you almost have the 24, not really, but almost. And then you have the 70, which could act as an 85 if you use the crop mode on your camera, especially when you're doing video. Even though it weighs in at 970 grams, it's still gonna be lighter than bringing multiple different lenses with you. And also you don't have to switch the lenses. And I think that that is one of the charms. Now, the Tamron is probably going to be one of the best lenses of all times that I've tried, because I still love this lens. And I think that anyone that is a beginner, anyone that is wanting to have one of the best zoom lenses that is on the market for Sony cameras, the Tamron lens is the way to go when you look at the price and the quality that it provides. To be completely fair, when I looked at the images coming out of these two lenses, it is very hard to tell the difference. I don't know about you, but I had a very hard time seeing which one was the sharpest and which one was the least sharp and so on and so forth. I would love to know, which lens would you choose of these two and why would you choose that lens? I'm probably going to use this whenever I travel, because I love the blurry background that you get with the 2.0. Do drop a comment down below. Thanks so much for watching.
Peter from Sweden is hoping that you will subscribe as well. And I will see you in the next video. I gotta get out of the studio more. Starting to feel a little bit trapped in here. But then again, you know how it is. New baby and all that stuff. Anyway, thanks so much for watching. Have a good one.